everyone out there, and welcome to episode 34 of Bodied, the Cloud9 Fancast. Tonight, after going through the usual other esports news, we'll be discussing Cloud9's near-perfect semifinals match and what to expect going into the final match of the spring season. I'm Havokpus, and today I'm joined by...
frozencreek. Did you guys know that Array has the highest death percentage of anyone in playoffs so far?
I didn't know that.
Trey.
Same. I'm Trey, and did you know that Contractz deserved Rookie of the Split?
Yas.
I'm Ian, and I don't have any fun facts because I'm lame.
I
I am back though after like
approach.
3 weeks of not being here because I've been super busy.
I see it how it is. We don't register on your radar.
Yeah, dude, fuck school and fuck my education. I don't need any of that.
You don't need an education, man. All you need is to know the right people.
Dude, there you go.
Drop
I
out.
know, I know you guys,
2.5
and that'll get me into
GPA.
wherever I need.
Yeah. Something like
Alright.
that.
Well, at the threat of getting too sidetracked talking about bank robberies and other crazy things, let's go on to other esports. So, for CSGO, the rumors are in fact true, Cloud9 fans. Swag will be playing and subbing in for Skadoodle at CS Summit. So if you want to see Swag back in that lineup, shooting people with nothing, Shroud, Stewie, and Audie, now's your chance. In terms of match news, they played against SK Gaming and Immortals over the weekend and finished both matches 1-1. So they didn't lose, but they didn't win either.
The old European tie.
Hey,
They do love their ties.
in ties, that means just everyone is a winner, really, which is probably the greatest victory of all. It's friendship.
Who scored more goals that game, though?
No.
What?
Yeah, like in soccer, like a European.
Look, this is America,
Okay.
and we only watch American football. I'm not going to talk about soccer
There
on
is
this show.
no goals, there's only touchdowns.
Well, there is field goals, so I guess like half right.
How many touchdowns did Skadoodle score then?
I don't know.
A whole bunch of them.
All of them.
Lots.
All right.
All of them.
Going to Vainglory,
Going to
we
Vainglory.
played against Hammers Esports in week 1 of the VG NA Split 2, and we went 1-2. So, not great, but it was against Hammers, who most consider a really great team.
Yes. I was saddened by this loss as well. Of course, I couldn't be able to watch it all, as usually happens when Vainglory comes on, but sad to see that they lost, but hopefully they can win matches in the future. So, what do you guys think about this other esports news before we move on to the meaty meat?
Spicy.
Pretty standard.
All right then.
I don't keep up with other esports, I'm not gonna lie. I keep up with Smash.
A great 3 out of 5 stars from the
The
Bodied
only
crew.
other esports that Ian follows is TSM, I think.
I follow TSM.
Get me outta here.
I'm a traitor. Oh. I
We
didn't
do
even
not
know it,
say
dude.
Their name.
You called
in
me
the
out on it,
show.
I mean, I didn't even know it. Holy shit. I need to go like purge myself.
It's I believe it's pronounced purging.
Dude, you're right.
Yeah. All right. So, for League of Legends, a quick congrats to Contractz and Reaper for winning Rookie and Coach of the Split. I know Trey and frozencreek have very coarse words about this subject because they argued about it in our Discord server.
Frozen, do you want to put your opinion first?
Are we gonna go at this now, or do you guys want to do it later?
I mean, we could do it now as long as it's not too long.
I would say let's do it real quick because I would like to say our impressions before we go over the C9 match.
Okay.
As the Rookie of the Split should have been portrayed to the regular season and not to the playoff match, which was a completely different contracts. So.
Yes, very, very true.
Yeah.
Very good.
I can agree with that also. Okay, so my stick was, I think that Arcadian was the Rookie of the Split pretty easily just based off his early split performance, and I really don't think Contractz performed all that well compared to a lot of his counterparts. And I thought that Cadian's great push at the beginning was good enough to make him win the split for rookie of the split. But I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that Contractz was a solid performer and never looked bad throughout the split.
Yeah, I think Acadian deserves a lot of credit, just like Lyra did. I think Contractz was not a better jungler than Acadian. I do think Acadian in the regular season played better than Contractz in most games. The difference was when Contractz played bad, it wasn't detrimental to the team. Like, he had his off games where it was okay. Acadian got put in situations to where he brought the team down when he didn't perform. So that could be many things. That could be Echo Fox's strength in laners, or that could be a communication error in Acadian and the team overall. And if he didn't get ahead, it seemed like they just could not play as a team.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, because whenever Contractz didn't, like, not that he, I guess not like feed, but when he wouldn't show up, I guess the way people expected him to, like doing like super, super well, there wasn't really ever a point where I thought that Contractz was like just like an anchor on the team holding everyone back. He was still contributing in various ways, whereas Acadian, whenever he wouldn't do very well, he would really drag the team down, and it was like super obvious. So I really agree with that.
A lot of it for me comes down to if you just go by the eye test, I think that you could interchange them for the most part, but a lot of Contractz stats were actually really, really, really bad. He was last among jungle. Well, I guess not last. He was 11th of 12th of all junglers in first blood percentage. The only person behind him was Ninja. He was bottom 2 or 3 in gold difference at 10, XP difference at 10, and CS difference at 10.
And those are some pretty shitty stats. But what I'll say to that is that Cloud9 played a very much just try and get through the laning phase during the mid towards the end of the split. So they weren't going for very progressive plays, and most of the time you would see what would happen is they would give up these first bloods and they would get a deficit down below, and they would draft later game team comps knowing that they're going to fall behind, but they'll be able to accelerate the pace later, which makes up for some of his statistics. I do think it needed to be improved on, which we saw in playoffs that it did, but I still think he earned Rookie of the Split.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that he didn't like totally earn it. I just don't think that he did enough to earn it. And another stat that kind of jumped out to me was Cloud9's difference at 15, or Cloud9's gold difference at 15 minutes was negative 85 throughout the split. And if you compare that to Contractz gold difference at 10, I know they're 5 minutes apart, but he was negative over 100. So I don't think he gained almost all of that back in 5 minutes, and I think that almost all of Cloud9's early game faults don't come down to Contractz playing bad, but I think a lot of it comes down to Contract's play also. In our early game was easily our weakest part of our game.
See, and I can 100% agree to the early game being bad. I do think some of that was contributed to Contractz, but
and Jensen dined to Piglet in lane.
It's all right. Piglet eventually realm warped himself into relegations.
Oh,
But
snap!
I think I'll end with I think both our opinions are pretty valid, and Acadian was pretty close. The numbers came out. He was somewhat close to winning Rookie of the Split, And I think the fact that Contractz was on Cloud9 did help him a lot. I think either or earned it. I personally, though, think that Contractz, as a player, did more for his team, which is why I'm going to give it to him.
Yeah. If I were voting, I would have voted for KDM, but that's also because I harped on Contractz all split, just because I thought that he could have played better. But again, Contractz is also 17 at the end of the day, and I think Acadian is like 22 or some shit. So it's like a huge age difference.
Dude, Contractz is still a baby. He doesn't have the Acadian muscles.
That's for fucking sure.
All right, why don't we move on
Yes.
to our first
one more thing.
series.
Shout out to
okay.
Cody's son, who was the dark horse in the rookie of the split race.
Yeah.
Do we-
I actually would have probably given that award to him if it wasn't Contractz, just because he seemed to like actually have the most improvement and actually seemed to be like really helpful in the team for Immortals in the later stages of the season. So I certainly he certainly needs to get some recognition.
Yeah, he started out as Cody's son, went to Cody Dunn, but then they Cody won.
Yeah.
Do
Alright.
we want to talk about Reaper at all? Because I think that might be technically more controversial than Contractz too, or we can get into
I don't
this
think we
at
have
a later
time.
date.
I don't think Reaper is that controversial. The only people we could really say is TSM's coach and P1's coach. And I think Reaper did more as a like integral part of the team.
No,
And that's all
I
I
think
can really say.
You could argue Dig and Think Hard from FlyQuest too.
I think there's a couple way you could go, but I think Reaper owned it.
I'm just saying it was more controversial, I think, than Contractz, because Contractz was kind of like a horse, a favorite horse in that race.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
We'll
may
move on.
come back to
we
this-
can come back
this
to
point.
this because MVP gets announced this weekend, I think, right?
Yes.
Yes. So we can revisit all of the accolades in a post-season wrap-up.
yes. We do need to be moving on. And speaking of Contractz, boy howdy, did he certainly shut all of us up after that series. He was going just left and right, killing fools.
Yeah,
the-
Contractz played out of his mind.
That quadra-kill. The quadra-kill, you guys.
Yeah, if he was actually a rookie of the split, he would have gotten a penta there.
Hey, Sneaky stole that penta from him. That's on Sneaky. That's not Contract's fault. So let me kind of do a little intro for this match. So if you are a Cloud9 fan and somehow live in a cave, and you just now got internet.
Hey, that's all of us.
Okay, true. Cloud9 played against Phoenix One in their semifinals match for the 2017 Spring Split, and they completely crushed them 3-0. Shady and Inori played games 1 and 2, and then they swapped out for Meteos and Stunt in game 3, which I think a lot of people found really interesting, considering Meteos and Stunt were the better performers on Phoenix One. And I was actually puzzled by that myself. What do you guys think about sort of the roster moves that Phoenix One was trying to do that day?
I think a lot of it came down to we were just an overwhelmingly better team in the first two games that they kind of had to throw something together to try and win that third game. I think Stunt might have been too much, but I think subbing in Meteos for that game 3 was appropriate.
Yeah, I honestly feel like it was more of a desperation move of just like, hey, we lost these 2 games so badly that we need to try something else just to see if it'll work. Because it obviously wasn't working. So I think I agree with Frozen that it was more of a let's try this and see if it works rather than a this is our counter strategy to whatever you're doing.
Uh-huh. I think the big thing was really probably, I think scrim results, they probably played a Nori and Stunt and they worked well as a duo. And they were trying to go for a certain team comp. And the first 2 games it didn't work out. Like, they could have thought the first game was also just a fluke. But once they got past that second game, they had to do some changes. But I think it was already too late. And at that point, they were just grasping for straws. What I will say is I think it really threw them off that we substituted Ray in game 2.
Which is exactly why we have Ray, which I think is actually really cool. You know, we have a guy that completely messes up whatever draft plans that a team has, because now they have to shift gears and go, oh crap, now Ray's in, now we have to figure out what the hell to ban against him, because he's not going to play champions that like Impact would play. So I think that's really cool that we're utilizing this substitute position and in a really proactive way.
It makes the team much more two-dimensional and allows for a lot of different and interesting things. We did get to see Ray's J4, which did very well.
Dude, I love J4. I wish that champion was played more, dude. That's one of my favorite champions to watch.
Did you like it when Ziggs played it in game 3?
Hell yeah, I did, because it meant Cloud9 stomped them.
It's the J4 versus the J4 she tells you not to worry about.
Yeah, there you go.
But
yeah.
P1 just, I think it wasn't that P1 played bad. I think Cloud9 just played clean.
Yeah, Cloud9 looked like a
agree.
completely different team from the regular split in this playoff. I guess I don't want to say playoff run, but like in this series, like they had been struggling finding like clean games and being able to close, not close them out, but like they would take things overly slow. It seemed like they would play almost too safe sometimes due to either being behind in the early game or just not wanting to throw the game. They would take it painstakingly slow, and they would win a lot of times because they were really good at that. But there were a lot of times where it was super close and nail biting, and it was like, man, this is way closer than it needs to be. But with this, it was like, man, they got a lead and they just choked the life out of P1 with it. It was so clean. Like the macro strategy that C9 brought out and just completely sucked the life out of P1. They weren't able to do anything in the entire map for the entire series. It was so impressive.
Yeah, I think Frozen, I'll get to you in a second. Yeah, I mean, there's so much that we could probably harp on. I mean, there's stuff like Jensen out CSing Ryu. There's all this crazy mid jungle synergy that Contractz and Jensen were on. Contractz was looking so, incredibly proactive. Sneaky and Smoothie was just crushing Arrow and his lane partner. Just so many things was just looking like, oh, it finally clicked for us. And this is the Cloud9 we've been wanting to see for the past 9 weeks.
Yeah, really.
So it was just so amazing to see. I think especially even in the draft, doing stuff like, okay, we'll give Jensen Kassadin. They won't expect a Kassadin. We'll let Ryu have LeBlanc. And we baited Phoenix 1 basically into picking oh, you can have LeBlanc, oh, you can have Kled, because we have these matchup picks that we know will do either fine or outperform them. But sorry for stalling you out so long, Frozen. What was your point?
No, I was just gonna harp on our macro game, or not harp on it, but wait, is harping good or bad?
Harping is
good.
usually bad.
Okay.
I think you're looking for praise.
Okay, I'm gonna praise our macro game a little bit, just because I thought that we did a really good job this series of putting Phoenix 1 in a position where that they had to pick between 2 bad options. The prime example of that was, I'm not sure what game it was, but at Baron Pit when we got a pick on the support, and then we immediately rushed Baron and turned on them, because if if they didn't step up, we would have gotten an easy Baron and opened up the game. But they didn't have a good enough Baron stomping comp to completely stop our Baron. And we just turned on them and annihilated them.
Yeah, that was in game 1, and the interesting thing about game 1 was that the game was going like really slow, and there wasn't really a lot of kills happening. There was mostly just like turret trades and maybe taking like a dragon. But at that Baron fight and around that whole thing, like after that, you could really tell that like, oh, this is where Cloud9 is great at, and it's just like team fighting around major objectives. You know, they kill the support, they see Shen flanking from the side, they're just like, alright, kill Shen, and then they basically kill everybody, get the Baron, and then at that point the game's pretty much over. And I think that was kind of the big thing that everyone wanted to see, and just, you know, great early game, you know, Contractz was doing what he needed to do, lanes were just winning across the board, and then you get to the team fighting part, and then Cloud9 just decks them with like a really nice hook, and then they just go down.
And another thing, I forgot who mentioned it, but the jungle mid-sun energy. I thought that Contractz' Sin energy with Smoothie was actually really good. That they had some good awarded missions early in the game that I don't remember seeing all that much during the regular season. But despite all that, shout out to Contractz for being first in first blood percentage, or having 100% first blood percentage, and still managing to be negative in goal difference, XP difference, and CS difference at 10.
Doesn't matter, they won. Also, I think probably
I'm just laughing at it.
No, yeah. Also, probably the biggest point, you guys, we picked Lulu. We prioritized Lulu first pick every game.
Will Smoothie ever learn how to play Braum?
We may never know, you guys.
Find out next week on the next exciting episode of C9 versus the world.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else to really say, because I think we're just going to praise them for like 40 minutes, so I think we're
just going to be kind of reiterating.
Yeah, it's just going to be, oh, Cloud9 is the greatest team ever. So let's move on really quick to TSM versus FlyQuest. TSM beat them 3-0. I think everyone was kind of expecting that.
Dude, I was hoping for the reverse sweep.
I know.
You see game 2, you see High like put on his glasses, but then he pulls out his trap card, then immediately fucking Bjergsen lays down his Genzo, trap card effects are negated, FlyQuest loses.
Such a scumbag move. I say report TSM for deck stacking. There's no way they could draw Genzo at that precise moment without cheating. That's bullshit.
It was all going.
Dude, they didn't even use.
It was all going according to plan until FlyQuest didn't win game 3.
Exactly. They forgot to. Memes aside, I think what was really interesting about the TSM series was that they actually kind of looked a bit shaky. FlyQuest probably actually could have won game 1 had they not, you know, kind of messed up. And I think game 2 was actually winnable if FlyQuest had held on longer and Balls didn't randomly just stay in the bottom lane pushing that turret.
That was game 3.
That was game 3. I believe.
What happened in game 2? I thought, anyway, I think a couple, I mean, the point is, a couple of FlyQuest games in that series actually looked fairly winnable, and they actually could have beaten TSM, which was kind of interesting considering TSM is supposed to be...
It was game 2. It was game 2. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I'm looking at the post-game thread.
I know,
I had it mixed up.
Yeah, what do you guys think about TSM's recent performance?
I think they look really strong, man. Like, I think it's everything everyone expected out of TSM, just dominance.
Yeah, I think, if anything, TSM kind of underperformed for me. They did look dominant against Fly, but, like, God, was it sloppy.
Yeah, sloppiness is probably the adjective that I would have used.
It was dominant, but it wasn't clean, I guess.
Yeah. Sven Skaren was kind of showing, you know, his problem this season of kind of making a lot of really random pathing choices and just kind of getting killed in the jungle.
Yes,
yeah, that's been his big weakness.
Svenskeren had negative 338 goal difference at 10 in that series somehow, which is pretty bad. But Cloud9 and TSM have 31 and 32.7 average game time in the respectively into this semis. So I don't think it's too fair to say that TSM wasn't that clean. But I do agree that they were getting caught around the map a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Their macro, I think, as a whole, though, did look really good, and Hanser looked extremely good in the top lane. He was, I think, constantly just like abusing balls.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Fly and P1 are going to be able to transition into the third place match, but TSM is playing us. So why don't we look at that?
That's what matters.
All right, nice transition. All right, so Cloud9 will be playing against TSM in the NA/LCS Spring 2017 Finals this Sunday, April 23rd at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Central. And they're playing for a lot here, actually, guys. Winner will receive 90 championship points that will go towards Worlds. They'll get the trophy for this split, and also will be competing at MSI with all those big wig Korean and Chinese and other international teams, the ones we don't see for most of the year. So a lot is on the table. How are we looking?
So I think this is going to be a much closer match than we saw in summer of 2016. The team is much more strategic and has I would say a better rounded playmaking ability. Not only are we more two-dimensional with the addition of Ray, Contractz, I think is playing to the team much better than Meteos did. It's going to be close. If everything goes the way we predict it to, it's 3-2, no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think that if both teams show up like we expect them to, and especially if C9 shows up like they did against P1, and they have that playoff buff that everyone kind of knows C9 and TSM for having, I think it'll be a really good match, and definitely, like it has been said, much closer than the last time these two teams met in the finals, which was, I guess, less than stellar. But yeah, I think it'll be a very good match. I think everyone on C9 is looking like super strong right now. All the lanes are looking great, to put it lightly. Like, I think Jensen is going to match Bjergsen in laning. Bjergsen might be able to out-roam him, but if Jensen and Contractz have that synergy going like they did versus P1, I think that it'll be a very close match, and that C9 will be able to match TSM and likewise blow for blow. So it's shaping up to be a really, really good one.
Yeah, I think going back to the Phoenix 1 series, I think one of the things that I think us and more, accredited analysts said that probably the biggest problem that Cloud9 is going to face is Ryu roaming, because he roamed a lot in the Dignitas game, and Jensen kind of struggles against roaming mid laners.
Jensen isn't known for roaming. He's known for being able to apply a ton of pressure in lane, make, like, basically draw that pressure away from other lanes so that they can succeed. That's his big thing, because he'll like smash lane if he doesn't receive any pressure from the enemy jungler, but he struggles against people that like to roam, because then it doesn't matter how much pressure he has if the mid laner's just somewhere else and making plays happen in, like, say, bot lane, and then there's two winning lanes, because not only did bot lane pick up a kill, mid lane also picked up some gold off the assist, so all the pressure that Jensen had in the mid lane doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, and the reason I mentioned Ryu is because what happened in the Phoenix 1 game is basically Jensen was out CSing him so hard, and there was some great jungle synergy and jungle mid pressure on Ryu. He basically couldn't leave lane because he can't afford to get just like super far behind.
Yeah.
More than he probably already was.
And that's how it's supposed to go. Like Jensen's supposed to push them in so hard with every single wave that they can't roam, because they're going to be losing wave after wave after wave to tower. And Jensen basically just needs the help from Contractz to be able to do that, to make sure that he's safe and that he has wards and that the enemy jungler isn't coming to gank. And that's exactly what we saw from the P1 series.
Yeah, I think if the team can do that, and I think also maybe utilize some great pocket picks, like put Jensen on something like the Echo and do like a double TP comp, which worked really great in games 1 and 3 of the Phoenix 1 series, I think that would be a major help. Just stick to their strengths of team fighting and mid to late game map control. And I think if we can have the early game go as smoothly as it went in the Phoenix 1 series, I think we have a really good shot at taking the finals.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys are
sorry.
you guys are sitting here talking about Jensen and Bergson, but how can you guys forget top lane? Haunter versus Impact, or Haunter versus Ray. Haunter is my top laner for the split, and arguably an MVP candidate. It's gonna be awesome to see him clash against Impact, and if they were to do like an alternative stream, I'd love to see a stream of Haunter going at it with Impact and Ray. But back to what you said about a double TP comp, I think that's our best chance of winning, is running a double TP comp in most of our games. I think that we can outplay TSM in a macro game in a 1-3-1 comp. I think it suits a lot of our strengths.
Yeah, what I'll say about that is I think 1-3-1 does work well for us, but I do think that we shouldn't necessarily stray away from team fighting. If you look at us in the P1 game, we had some really great team fights even when we weren't so far ahead. And I think team fighting has been one of our big strengths this year. Haunter is a great top laner, and I don't think anybody can say that he wasn't the best top laner of the regular season. I think, depending where Sven goes, Contractz is going to have to play pretty solidly to not fall behind. And if Sven isn't going to mid, Jensen 100% has to play like a mini faker, where he's just getting damage on the tower constantly, forcing people to go mid so we can create advantages in other lanes.
Talking about the Svenskar and Contractz battle, I think that this is something that Contractz should be able to exploit. I don't think Svenskaren's been playing all that well, and I think that if Contractz really wants to prove that he is the obvious choice for rookie of the split, that he needs to take apart Svenskaren and squash him like a little Kha'Zix bug.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really tough jungle matchup, I think, because Svenskaren is, just the more experienced player. But I think, like everyone's probably been saying, if Contractz plays like he did, in the Phoenix 1 series, or even just him channeling that game where he played Rengar and got 15 kills, I think we should be okay. What about bot lane? I think this is the one matchup where I think everyone can pretty much say we definitely have an advantage in.
Yeah, Biofrost is a good support, but he doesn't play...
He's not Smoothie, that's what...
He doesn't play as synchronized with the team as Smoothie does. And I think Wild Turtle is a good ADC, he just gets really over-aggressive. Sneaky has been playing extremely well. One of the best ADCs to split by far. Really outclassed Arrow, though he was with Shady. So that wasn't really their fault. What I will say is that even if we are playing well early in the bot lane, this is also going to be another lane that relies a lot on the jungle pressure. Because one thing that TSM knows very well how to do is bait people in and then have Sven and Bjerg just appear in bot lane, kill both bot laners, take the tower, and then they're up 2k gold.
Yeah, that will definitely be a challenge. I think I don't know what I think. But yeah, good point.
For me, the bot lane favors Cloud9. Maybe not so much in laning phase, because Sneaky and Wild Turtle are decently close in every 10-minute category. But I think we saw Sneaky pretty much outclass TSM when Wild Turtle when they played together. But I think where Sneaky's really going to make a difference is outside of lane. If you look at the split, Sneaky was 3rd in damage per minute among ADCs, and Wild Turtle was actually below Keith at 12th, and higher than only Afromu.
Okay, there's a good reason for that. TSM had one of the lowest game times, so when you aren't playing into the later game, you don't get the high damage fights. So they would be winning so quickly that it was just, okay, they win a team fight, they win the game, it's over. So the damage per minute stat isn't necessarily an accurate description, because all of TSM's damage per minute stats are going to be somewhat low.
That's fair. And yeah, I looked at the average game time. TSM had the 2nd lowest average game time, and Cloud9 had the 3rd highest.
It's definitely going to be a clash of different styles, and it'll be interesting to see how they perform. But I don't know much of what else we can talk about here, and I think we should probably switch it over to the P1 versus FlyQuest match before we make our predictions.
Yes, I was actually about to say something similar, so good eye, or I guess ear. Anyway, Phoenix 1 and FlyQuest will actually be playing in the 3rd place match the day before. It should actually be pretty exciting because Phoenix 1 has some pretty cool players, you know, and it also has the Meteos versus Balls High and Lemon narrative that everyone is probably going to enjoy. I think it's just going to be a fun match. It could go either way.
I think that's the best way to describe at least my general feelings towards how this match is going to go is just fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch.
I would really like to see the coaches just kind of have some fun with the draft and just pick really fun picks instead of just meta picks. You know, just go crazy with it. Put Alltech on Mordekaiser again. You know, I want to see that because it's a fun pick.
Everyone does. It's great.
The thing is, for P1 versus FlyQuest, I think a lot of it's going to come down to how much does this match matter to them, right? FlyQuest, I think they've already considered how far they've gotten a success. To be honest, I think P1 was hoping for maybe a little bit more, but are still happy. So this battle is pretty much only for, I think it's 20 championship points, which overall, assuming that Summer Split also goes like TSM/C9 and 1-1 and 2, that means pretty much no matter what, this is going to be a point of, okay, well, who's going to get the higher seed in Gauntlet, assuming that they both still aren't relegated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point. I think it's actually also interesting that this may be... Is this the first time, at least in a while, that CLG has not gotten to like a really high point in the playoffs? Because at least like last year, they got pretty far both times.
Last year they got
first
place
in
and third.
spring.
Yeah.
And then in summer, I can't remember where they placed.
They got third.
Okay, yeah.
Remember, if you remember correctly, that auto qualified them to Worlds.
Yeah, now I remember, and everyone was really upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
The thing is, with CLG, I think they just didn't turn it on before playoffs and had some other issues, but that's a whole nother story. Regarding this match, it's going to be pretty close, I think. I think it's going to be a silly match. I think there will be a lot of swaps on the side of P1. But I also don't think FlyQuest will be meta by any means.
Yeah.
As they should be.
Also, I just want to drop in here. The difference between third and fourth is 30 championship points to 50 championship points.
Oh wow, that's actually
That's
a fairly
pretty. That's significant.
big bump.
That's a big difference.
It's the same difference between second and third and second and first, 20 points each. And realistically, there's only 6 teams with championship points right now. So if you get 50, you're almost guaranteed a gauntlet spot.
Yeah, for FlyQuest, that would be huge. I can't imagine that they will be juggling for third next split, but if they can just make playoffs, that would guarantee them a gauntlet spot almost.
Yeah, I also just have to say I think it's really interesting that FlyQuest actually got this far. I think a lot of people were saying that FlyQuest is going to lose a lot of matches. They might be 10th place and get relegated. And here they are. They went through playoffs. They are now in potentially a 3rd place spot. So I think just the fact that they were able to come this far so unexpectedly is pretty cool.
I'm going to read off my favorite tweet of all time. Monte Cristo on January 8th of 2017. FlyQuest currently on the table for worst esports investment of all time. Let's see if they can escape a relegation.
Oh boy, once again Monty's predictions were
Okay. Half the time Monty is like a legend with his predictions. The other half he's like 0-10. He's like NA at Worlds. He's just not there.
He's
that
either
prediction was certainly something.
he's the definition of hit or miss.
He's either Season 5 Origin or Season 7 Origin.
Same.
All right. Let's go down the line super quickly. What are your predictions for this game?
Let's
3-1
see.
P1.
Yes. I'll go with that.
I'll be the oddball out and say 3-1 Fly.
I was gonna say FlyQuest actually.
Okay. Cool. So we're split.
What's your score?
What? 3-1. I guess that's safe.
All right. Cool.
Before we do predictions for our game, who do you guys think is gonna win MVP?
I'm gonna give it to Haunter. I think Haunter takes it.
Yeah, he's just been so consistent the entire split, man. Like he just looks so good.
My heart is saying Smoothie. I could go on and on about how Smoothie should definitely win
He's
this award.
so underrated.
I know.
Like he's so
and especially
good.
in a support role.
Yeah,
he has so many things that go unnoticed.
He does so much for the team. Like he's the glue that holds C9 together.
He's the in-game leader. He is their vision control. He is their shot caller. He keeps them
The protein
safe.
shake.
He's the protein shake, you guys.
Exactly.
I do think he's very worthy of an MVP, but I think it's really hard to give an MVP to a support.
Yeah,
That
he's
feels bad, man.
He's not like this huge playmaker support that you see.
He's a very consistent backline
yeah,
support.
he's not like Mad Life when he was in his prime. He's like he takes a very backseat role when it comes to what you see him do, but he's very, very integral to the team in everything you don't see, such as voice comms and like planning and like here's what we're gonna do and all that. So it's yeah, I think it's really hard to give an MVP to something like that when you just don't see a lot of it happening, even if it may be extremely important.
And I think it's right to say that he is the number one support in North America, and he got on the North American team.
Absolutely. I would 100% agree with
he's
that.
definitely getting the credit for that. I just think that overall, like, supports are neglected in League.
Yeah.
Like, he's getting the credit he deserves as a support, but I think as an overall player and helping the team, he's really an integral part.
Oh yeah, he's like what Lemon used to be.
So I could definitely see him if they somehow gave it to him, but I think it'll go to Hauntzer
Yeah.
just because top laners make bigger plays, mid laners make bigger plays.
Basically,
That's just the way it
Basically,
is.
it's
I think that's the same.
We all agree that he's worthy of it, and we would all be very happy if he gets it. But realistically, we don't think he's gonna get it.
No, yeah, I was about to say as sort of my closing statement. You know, my heart says Smoothie, but my mind says Hauntzer.
Yeah.
I think just Hauntzer by himself, he's shown a lot of growth from like last split to this split.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
He's looking a lot better and actually a real threat in the top lane. So
What I will say, I didn't want to cut you off. Do not be surprised if Lero wins this award.
Oh yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
He is
I have the
individually
better Dark
he
Horse.
was probably the best jungler in LCS. He just had a really bad team.
I mean, he
Yeah.
probably is the best jungler.
He was 1v9ing the entire
Yeah,
He
skill-wise,
legitimately was.
Dude, he really was. It was actually like, it was actually sad to watch. Like it was really sad.
I hope he does get some votes. I think it's going to be one of those three for sure. I don't see anybody else who could win it, but
Ian, who's yours?
My pick for MVP.
Yeah.
I have to go with Havoc, man. I think I want Smoothie to win it. I think he's very worthy and deserving of it, but I gotta say they're gonna go with Hauntzer.
you 100% said Havoc the first time, by the way.
I
Me?
think Havoc's gonna win.
Yeah.
win it.
Oh,
I think Havoc's going to win our MVP award.
That up and coming bronze 3 80 carry main coming at you.
I knew what I was trying to say, but it didn't come out like that, I guess.
I said Hauntzer the
I'll
second
accept
time,
the award.
so it's all good.
I'll accept it with grace and humility. Thank you for all that voted for me.
Thank you
All
for
right.
everyone that voted.
So now, as we're approaching the outro,
Hold on, I want to do mine.
okay.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
I think realistically, it's gonna be between Hauntzer, Alira, and either Bjergsen or Jetson, but I think it should be Froggen.
Froggen, he looked amazing.
He had Keith as ADC, and he still had almost the exact same laning stats and damage stats as Jensen and Bjergsen, if not better. So I think that he performed just as well as all of the other top mid laners, but did it with trash in his bot lane.
Well, to be fair, since Garen and Contractz did not help in the early game, where Acadian very much did.
Yeah, but he also had Keith though. No one else had
Keith isn't
Keith.
as bad as people make him out to be. There was a lot more that was wrong with that team than just Keith.
Oh hell yeah. Looper.
The fact
played
that I
pretty
think
poopy.
Looper didn't practice.
Like there was so much that was going on that made Keith just look terrible. Like his team didn't properly position for him to be able to succeed in team fights to begin with, which as an AD carry is literally the worst thing, because then you straight up can't do anything without just dying instantly. And then also for the majority of the split, AD carry was in a really terrible spot, so those two things combined just made it almost impossible for him to succeed.
Or yeah, but you can't compare Echo Fox to Cloud9 and
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that Keith
TSM,
looked
yeah,
amazing.
like,
I'm
there's
not saying Keith would have been amazing.
no comparison.
Yeah, no, it's not even close. But like, he's not. People give him way too hard of a time. I think he's better than people make him out to be. Is he amazing or even like top? Like, I don't want to say top tier, but like, is he like top 5? No. But is he still?
But he's not Maple Street.
Is he still good? Yeah, he's still like a good player that can succeed when put in the right environment.
If they subbed in I'm a Cutie Pie, they would have been first this split.
Dude, I love Cutie. I want to see him back in the LCS, man. He could be a top tier AEC.
All right, let's move
Yeah,
on
let's-
to our Cloud9 TSM predictions then.
All right.
We'll start at the bottom this time.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I think we all agree that it's going to be a 3-2 one way or another. And I want to say that if we see the C9 that showed up versus P1 with strong lanes, strong coordination, and overall extremely clean gameplay, I think C9 could take it 3-2. So I'm going to go with that.
Trey?
Yeah, the thing is, there's a tiny little place in my mind that tells me C9 winning is irrational, and it's just because they haven't won in so long.
Yeah, it feels weird like saying like, yeah, I think C9 is going to win versus TSM in the finals because it hasn't happened in a while.
And it's also like we're in back-to-back finals, and usually teams win back-to-back before something changes, usually.
Oh, it's just like the presidential election.
Exactly. But TSM has won twice in a row, so I think this might be the change. I think C9 goes C9 3-2, I guess.
All right, so Smoothie's back. He's in his home country, you guys. He's playing it not only for his team, but for his countrymen, for the proud Canadian North. He's gonna give it his all.
Home field
he's gonna
advantage.
shot call us. He's gonna call us to victory. We're gonna go 3-2, and we're gonna show those TSM fans that it's not cool to chant their name anymore. Now it's Cloud9.
Hell yeah.
Cloud9. Cloud9. Cloud9.
Free SM. Free SM.
There you go. I like that
All
one.
right, so yeah, we're gonna win 3-2. It's gonna be great, and I'm probably gonna cry when they win.
Wee lads.
You little bitch.
He just got called out. Holy shit.
I'm sorry that I'm human and have emotion, Trey.
That was so savage.
I'm not like one of your precious robots.
Oh,
You held nothing
I love
back
you,
on that,
Havoc.
dude. Oh my
Okay.
god.
All right. While I go to the berm ward, Frozen, what's your predictions for this weekend?
All right, so do you guys know the stupid and annoying like the things that people take to like basketball games and shit with like the hand in like the middle and two hands on the side and then they wave them back and forth?
I love those things. You shake them back and forth and they make the clappy sound.
Oh yeah, the clacker.
Those are
I mean-
awesome. I love those.
That is going to be
Boomsticks.
us all over TSM this weekend. Yeah,
Oh,
we're going
baby.
to beat these motherfuckers 3-0.
Oh, the clapping.
oh my god.
Clappening 3-0. You heard it here first,
Oh,
ladies and
baby.
gentlemen.
Contractz
did we
is gonna
sub out
shit
Jensen
all
for
over
Faker?
Cadian. Or Svenskeren.
Oh god.
Yo, dude, that's bold, but I like it.
Dude, I need to change
Very
my pants
spicy.
after that. Holy shit.
I think I just need to change my pants from hearing that.
Oh god.
I'm gonna drink a lot of milk because that was a little too spicy for my taste.
Whew.
I like it medium at most. This is extra hot.
Damn. All right.
All right.
Well, I like that prediction.
It's very nice. I can support that. But
I can get behind that.
Same.
yeah. So closing out, what's everyone's moment of the week?
I'll go quickly here. For me, it was watching Array go at it with J4 and Kled in the top lane. I thought that was a blast to watch them trading back and forth for like 20 minutes.
My moment of the week is going to be Cloud9 boosting 3 teams into the 4 LCS semifinal. I mean, Cloud9 getting to the finals, 3-0. It's pretty nice. I mean, P1 played pretty well. C9 White, I mean, FlyQuest also played pretty well. That's pretty much it.
All right. I'll say my moment of the week was I got to see what is possibly the best movie I've ever seen in theaters, which is Kimi no Nawa, or also known as Your Name, which it was an anime film that had massive success in Japan, so much so that it got a US release, and I saw it twice in theaters, and I fucking bawled my eyes out because it was so goddamn good. Like, I could fangirl about this film for like hours on end. It's so fucking good, dude. If anyone wants to like fangirl about this with me, just like hit me up on Discord or Reddit or something. I'll talk to you about it.
I'm sorry, sir. You know what we do to weebs.
What do you do to weebs? Tell me, please. Mr. Trey with his anime profile picture in Discord.
He didn't think this far ahead into the bit. He only got this far.
Weebs, like me, get corralled into an area called the anime chat, and you don't move from there. You just stay there forever.
You know what else happens to weebs? They wear Miku cosplays on stream.
Dude, if that happens, I wouldn't even be mad.
For everyone that doesn't know, Trey and I have this thing where it's like, I told him that I might buy him a Hatsune Miku cosplay and like hand deliver it to him because we live super close to each other, and he'd have to wear it on stream. And I really want to do it, but it's like it would be not a hefty chunk of money, but it'd be a little bit. So
it's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a bit for something just like so simple like that.
Yeah, dude, you could always do the Yuno Gasai, but that's not full.
Fuck Yuno. Fuck that show. I hated that show.
Whoa.
Mirai Nikki sucked.
He's not saying fuck Yuno as in...
No, Yuno carried the fuck out of
Yuno.
that show. She was like the only good character in that show. But
let me.
I think if you guys look at the
let me do
Reddit
my
post,
moment of the week so we can close out the show.
if you look at the
Anime
Reddit
chat
posts,
after.
I think that our Koreaboos here in our Weeaboos.
I think we break the gap.
All right, I guess we should let
Havoc say its moment of the week.
Yes,
Heal
let's finish this before it goes completely off the rails. My moment of the week was Jensen playing Echo. His Echo is fierce and should be feared by pretty much everyone, because he got that crazy double kill at the end that was so violent that the spectator cam had to move away and watch the rest of the fight going down mid lane.
It was too brutal.
It was too graphic.
You can't
for
do that
human
to people.
eyes.
Dude, you had to put it on Live Leak because YouTube wouldn't allow you to put it up.
It was extremely graphic.
The Riot Games Twitch channel got banned.
It was a whole
I
thing.
mean, you can't show pornography like that on Twitch.
Dude, for real though, like it's straight up illegal.
All right.
Deep.
Well, thank you for listening to what's probably the craziest episode of Body of the Cloud9 Fancast, the 34th episode to be specific.
It only gets worse.
It only gets worse.
It's all downhill from here.
It's all downhill.
Until we get to episode 69.
Yes, that's the goal.
Wait until we have the 5-man podcast.
Oh baby.
When we have Pi Magic Man in here along with us,
gang,
that'll be the
whole gang. It'll be loopy as hell. Feel free to tweet questions and feedback to @C9Bodied or email us at bodiedfancast@gmail.com. Questions will be answered on the next podcast. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Pew, pew, pew.
Bye bye.